Are we rolling as you're
No, now we're
yawning?
rolling. Hey, everybody, guess who's back? Your favorite co-host that I know you all miss so much. I know after 1 week you were like, I know you guys toughed it out through that episode that we just did, but and I know I'm sorry, JB, I'm blowing out your eardrums right now, but um, I know you guys toughed it out through that raw. I mean, it was good. No, no, hey, look, it was good. It was a good dome. But now we know we're back and we're rolling. I can add an extra half an hour onto this thing. I can blow some people's eardrums out. I can let people derail a lot better than Jordan can. But I'm back, biting kneecaps, almost last in the rankings. Happy to be back in my spot. How's it going, everybody? And joined by my lovely co-host who took the reins of the full reins. Usually it's one hand grabbing a rein for him, one hand grabbing a rein for me, and then we're grabbing each other's D's. But he had both his hands on both the reins, and Jordan Dry, Jordan Dry. Can we get a
I was actually just once again one hand on one rein. He had his hand on another, and similar things were happening with that other hand, that offhand.
That's true. Not to not give credit to the man who actually had the OBS and allowed the episode to be posted, and had the thumbnail, did everything. That was all him. So that is
Yep.
true. One hand again, and now we're back to the crew here. But we actually have a very, very special, very important, very loving, fatherly, um, successful, handsome guest that we all know and love. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, guest?
What's going on? I'm back. It's Dad.
It's Dad, everybody. He's back. He's back. We got Brennan. He's here. Dad came home with the groceries, ready to do a pod,
Ready
Thank you, Dad.
to see my kids.
and we
We've been
appreciate that.
acting up. We've been acting up.
We have been. We have been. It's been bad. Um, but tell us how you been, Dad, in the fantasy world, in your world. How's everything going?
Things have been good. I'm a little frustrated with my fantasy performance. I feel like we have a lot of upside over here at the organization, but not panicking yet.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any reason to panic yet.
yeah. I don't see
Three
any
and
reason to
three.
panic.
You're. I mean, dude, it's surprising at this point that most teams are like either 500 or hovering right around 500.
I was gonna say if you asked me 3 weeks ago if Tuck and Brendan were gonna have the same record in 3 weeks, I
Oh,
would
I
have
would have
told
said
you. I
no.
would have called you delusional.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, um,
I just wish Brennan would have had this week's performance maybe last week instead of Joe Burrow putting up 50 plus points on me, but it's okay.
Yeah, I
it
did
happens.
benefit pretty well from that.
Yeah. That was a good one. But he said, sometimes we'll have 50, sometimes. What did he have for you last week? 20s?
23 is what I'm
Yeah, I
seeing.
think he was 23. Yeah.
Okay. Not bad.
Which isn't too bad. I feel like this year has not been the best year for quarterbacks, so
No, it
I'll take
hasn't.
23.
No,
Yeah.
except unless you're Baker Mayfield, which, um, since let's go ahead and use this to transition into the power rankings and discuss them. Baker Mayfield, I think at this point, I think you said you were going to punish Loesch for his month in the rankings. I think he still auto drafted a team, but you know what? The man put in a bid at some point in the season where he ended up picking up someone who is the QB1. I believe he's either QB1 or two, but I think it's one.
One. Yeah.
Still one 2 months into the season. So that to me is a redeemable enough thing that I can rank him properly even after auto drafting because that was it. You know what? He literally bid, and there were multiple people bidding on Baker, and he got him. It was a non-computerized move, and he has the QB1. So I can
Non-computerized that
respect
we
it.
know of.
That we know of, but I can go ahead and say I can respect it enough to
Okay.
rank him honestly.
What did you have him ranked?
You guys had him ranked higher. I had him ranked like 7 or 8. Oh
Oh,
no,
okay.
was he? I can't remember if he was above me or not in my rankings. I was not high, so he was either like somewhere in 7, 8, or 9, somewhere in there. So I think it was more like 7,
Yeah.
7 or 8. Yeah. So well, let's talk about the rankings though. I mean, what did you guys see? Because mine were very different from you guys's. So what anything you guys see initially that confuses you in the rankings, Brendan? You want to go ahead and start just looking them over, pull them up in the group me. Just anything that you see that doesn't make sense, or anything that's interesting, or does it all make sense? What do you think?
I hate to put any shade on the co-host here, but I had him at 8. I'd hate to say it.
Oh,
That's
I'm
fine.
curious where you guys
That's fine.
would have had him at for him to come in at fifth there.
that's
I'm
a
pretty sure I only had myself at like. I'll have to check, but I don't think I had myself higher than 7. I had myself at 8. So
okay. I had
Okay.
you higher now that you're getting healthier. Um, so that might be where the
okay.
confusion is. I think you both had each other low, but I know Cup's not for sure back, but you had him in the starting lineup. So when I looked at your lineup and I saw, your QB, 3 strong running backs, 2 strong wide receivers, um, and then a great as the Bears are on bye, so they weren't in your lineup, but the Bears defense is like the number 2 defense. You have the best kicker in the game. Like obviously you're 2-4, but you dealt with injuries, and it looks like you have like a pretty solid, to say the least, squad. I had you up at like 3 or 4.
Oh wow. Yeah. So
I think it
that's
was
that
4.
explains.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I had myself at 8.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like now that AJ Brown and Cooper Cup, well, again, Cooper Cup's still up in the air, but like your tight end position. I mean, and you have options there. It's not even like you're lost there. You have Kincaid, who you have faith in. You have Evan Ingram, who's back from injury and put up a monster game for a tight end. So 10 catches. It was more about like how he went. I don't know if I think he went over 100 yards, but also like on 10 for 10.
Think it did.
Like you have what looks like who could be a strong tight end, and then depth from there. As someone who rose to depth, especially at the running back spot. I mean, I don't know how you could rank yourself in the bottom half of the league.
Yeah, it was mainly based off of record, and I factor in luck a little bit, and I've consistently had teams score or have some of their best weeks against me, so I factored that in as well.
Hmm,
Just the fact that I catch people's good weeks.
for sure, for sure. Was there anything else, Brendan, that stood out to you?
I think, overall I've been pretty impressed with the Kingslayer. I feel like he's on a little bit of a move. I would have to give a shout out to him putting a kicker on his IR. I think I was pretty impressed with that.
That was, you know what?
But,
Yeah, that deserves some claps.
you know,
Yeah.
That is
beyond that, I don't know.
that
I
is
think the
impressive.
Kingslayer's one that I'm definitely higher on after the last couple weeks here.
You know what?
Yeah,
Honestly,
Kingslayer deserves some credit for slaying the king,
he deserves credit. I told him this
handed him his
separately,
first L.
and I don't know if am I delayed at all. Can you hear me? Okay. Oh, maybe I am delayed. Here we go again. Here we go again. Hello, hello.
What's wrong?
Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Hey, good.
Um,
I'm not quite sure. I think it's the bars on my end are low. I'm not 100% sure why. Everything's running real slow right now. Okay. That. Thank you for that. I heard a little bit better.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not.
that's
I
better.
think my Wi-Fi is bugging. I wanted to Kingslayer. If you can hear me. See, there we go. Like within.
It's good first.
So I know these are not my shitty Wi-Fi.
Oh,
Any
this
other?
is top quality production last for Harambedome.
Can you hear me now? Wow, they really can't. Okay.
Yeah, behind you too.
So
Everyone knows you got respect for him.
I don't know how long this is gonna last.
Oh, there's fucking ball had second for like a month, right around finals. Second was starts.
Ugh.
Ridiculous. I think they would provide some type of like compensation for it, like, oh, just give it you don't have to pay Wi-Fi bills. It's not half it's gone, it's all they're gone, but no, nothing.
Of course not.
Yeah.
It's left for you. Like, I get it.
Yeah, well. See the second look I can say. Oh no.
Picking up.
Okay. I think I'm still showing. But I think I'm good enough. Okay.
I have a question for Dad.
Yes.
I feel like you don't get the offers, but you're not as active with the trades. Do you feel the conversation that John and I had earlier? When you take someone, there's a text agreeing to trade. Do you feel like that's binding trade?
I did have a blockbuster trade last year with Sean. I think involving
Thanks for
Jordan.
the answer of NTN. I forgot about that. Sorry,
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't tend to trade, though. You're totally right. That being said, I am in the market for time, but there's very few tight ends that actually go. So, but I do think that there should be. I don't think it's necessarily signed in ink, but I think that there should be some respect given to the text.
If there's, yeah. If you like say, does wording matter? Like the way you phrase it, like, oh, I could be interested in sending you this player and this player for another player, or is it
Now,
like,
being in medicine, I totally agree. I think wording is everything. If you're
yeah,
saying like for sure we're gonna do this deal, and then you trade with someone else, I'd be very disappointed.
oh, I would be too.
But
For
Yeah,
sure.
if you propose me a trade,
I think the wording's key.
what do you feel like, Sean?
Well, first of all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Just gotta double check that first. Yay, we're back. Hopefully momentarily. I think because this hits home personally here. But I think that just to answer your question straight away and not like politicizing it at all and dancing around it, I think that no like direct answer, a text is not binding. I think that the only thing binding is an actual trade offer. Like, even if you say, hey, I'm going to give you this player, you're going to give me that player, let's do it, and then you don't do it, then it's still not like they don't owe you that player. You're not obligated to give up that player off your team if you never sent a physical trade. If that's the answer to the original question.
Yeah.
That said, I think you then have to take situations when it comes to texting on a case by case basis if it's being brought public to other individuals, the entire league. I think you need a case by case basis to determine just the amount of ridicule. Kind of like what Dad was saying, like giving respect to the person you're dealing with. Like it becomes more of like a you are going to be obligated to make that trade sort of thing to just like a level of respect to the person and just how much ridicule maybe they should get if that person brings it out. I think that wording matters to answer your other question. Um, I actually want to follow up with a question though, that kind of tackles on this because I want to hear what both of you think. If an offer is proposed, because I think casual texts are sent right back and forth, but I think like of course like if you see something where it's like, hey, the wording is like it's very specific, like, hey, are we gonna do this deal? Like, do you want to agree to this over text now, and let's do it? And then the other person's like, yes, we're verbally agreeing to this deal over text. Then that's obviously well documented. But if a because I think agreeing to a trade and trade proposals are also different in the realm of the text world. So if someone offers a trade and there's no denying that they sent an offer, right? Like a trade is offered, but there's no
Yeah,
communication back from the other party, or the communication is then brought up later in like hypotheticals is the wrong word. But the trade but it's like someone offers a trade over text, and a while later there's communication, but there's no immediate communication that confirms like, hey, I want to do this. Like, yes, I'm agreeing to what you're saying right now. Um, does that deserve more or less ridicule in the ridicule world of what we're talking about? How much does communication matter between both parties?
well, like for as an example, like if you say I'll send you player A and B next week, and then next week rolls around and you're like, oh, I don't want to send those players anymore. Is that was that a binding thing? Was that like did you propose? Is that an actual proposal?
I think I don't think again, I think the text world is different where like it's still not binding in a sense that you owe anyone anything because it's not an actual trade that's sent. But I think that, and again, back to the topic we were talking about, which is like amount of ridicule you get for like backing out or like respect to who you're trading with. I think if you propose something and then a week, in your example, and a week later, it's you're saying you don't want to do that anymore. A week later is a week later. Like I think anyone would think that that's you left it, you never responded, and then you're asking for the trade a week later. I don't think that that's um without question. I don't think there's just no communication there. The person didn't respond to your proposal. Um,
Yeah.
but let me make it even a little tighter. What if what if you propose? What if you send a legit proposal? Like we'll just use your wording from before. Hey, I'll give you this person for that person next week, or just in the sense like the next time we can trade. If it was like on a at a point where you can't trade because games have started, so a couple days, and hours later, couple hours later, there's never any like communication confirming like a yes or a no to that. But then hours later, the person who was offered that proposal says, like, hey, if you were serious about that, I'm interested. If you were serious, and this is where we're talking about like the semantics, do semantics matter? And so like you get
Yeah,
back
in that case, yeah, I agree.
if you're
There was
right,
no agreement made. It was
right.
just
If you were
it's
serious
still
about
an
what you
open
sent
discussion.
earlier, I'm interested. And then if the response back from that is, I think we can probably get that done, right? Then you kind of just unofficial that official proposal. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I agree.
Now it just kind of became back to like a hypothetical thing. If we if everybody is on that same page or if someone disagrees.
I mean, for me, it's always been until you send the trade. Like, obviously, there's situations where if you text someone, you're like, "Hey, here's my trade offer. Do you accept?" And that person says yes or no, and then you whether or not you send the trade. I feel like it's not binding until you send the trade. Now,
Yeah.
is it shady to agree to a trade? Like me and Brennan were, I think, I don't know if we had this before. This was during, but or if you picked this up when we were talking as you were cutting out. But if you like agree to a trade with someone over text and then offer that trade and then trade with someone else, that's shady. I don't think that's I mean, obviously, it's not illegal, but
Yeah, I agree.
definitely frowned upon.
I think there's a level to that, like especially if you've agreed, like, hey, you both verbally communicated, because again, I think that is a big thing that's key in those talks is like verbal communication from both sides. Like, hey, I'm proposing this, yes or no, and then getting an actual yes, like not a hypothetical yes or not like a ticky tacky, like a yes, like done, send, like send it and we'll accept, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Um, I think that in that realm of things, you just kind of have to take it as just unofficial. I think you just have to take it as unofficial as a whole. Um,
yeah,
it's
that's fair.
yeah. So yeah, I mean
Yeah, I was
that's
just
it's an interesting
curious. I was
topic.
just
Yeah,
curious about people's thoughts because I've had discussions with people over text about trades and players are mentioned. It's never necessarily agreed to, but then you go back to it. It's like, oh well, I don't want that trade anymore. I'm not considering that trade anymore. Stuff like that. And I was just wondering how you guys reacted in those situations, how you felt about them.
yeah, yeah. And again, like you said, if it's official, like hey, trade, yes, and then you go and trade with someone else, I agree that's shady. I do agree that's shady. But there's levels for sure. Um, Interesting. All right. Well, I guess to finish off with the rankings real quick, if my computer will let me, I hope it will. Um, I had Kingslayer ranked number one. I uh, I,
We
I look
had
at
you.
Kingslayer's team, and I think that changes because ranking based on like injuries, I think matters. But like his quarterback is top tier. Joe Mixon back is top tier. Achan is a good RB2. Jamar Chase is like the number one wide receiver. Marvin Harrison, if healthy, is a great wide receiver too. George Kittle, I think, is the difference maker in why I put him at one because he's got the one tight end that is actually a decent producer in fantasy in this tough season for tight ends. And then obviously, his flex could use some work, but I think he just had Tyrone Tracy pop off. That could have been, a decent flex depending on how things shake out. So um, I like Kingslayer's team. I like it a lot, and it just slayed the King. So I think it deserved number one in the rankings. Oh, this is going to be a rough one.
Yeah, I mean you can't argue with that. Mainly because I only heard half of it, but I agree.
That's true. You can't really make an argument if all you can hear is half the argument.
I heard Kingslayer can't you can't knock his team, and I agree. He's got a solid team running.
Yeah,
We'll see if Marv comes back. That little knock on the head he had.
yeah, yeah. Because he was producing
Did y'all see
beforehand.
that play where he got hurt? It's kind of strange. Like maybe I didn't actually hit, but I don't remember him really hitting his head. Like he kind of just got like almost looked like a whiplash type deal, and then he stood up and just collapsed or wobbled back down.
I didn't actually watch it, so I'm
Weird,
not sure.
weird situation. Oh well, yeah.
Um,
Anyways,
if you all can hear me decent now, sorry to the viewers who actually watch the Harambe Dome in the sense that you actually like literally watch because I'm just for the sake of my tabs right now. It feels like I can be heard better and the pace can be decent if I close out all my tabs. So I'm just gonna show the Discord and we can just chat. Um,
all right.
just to keep it, because it's otherwise it's pointless trying to maneuver the ESPN website if it won't load.
Yeah.
So this should be the last road bump. So let's go ahead and get to our matchups of the week, or our winner and losers of the week. Looking at last week's matchups, Brennan, as our guest, who's your winner of the week? Which matchup had the best winner in your eyes?
Bar list here. think I'm going Kingslayer. I'm really high on him. I feel like
Oh,
that's a big
Okay.
win. He's trending up. I'm impressed with the win. I got to give some love to my J Drive for taking down Watson, but I think I'm going
thank you.
Kingslayer. I feel like it's a turning point for him.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. I like that dub. He gets Mixon back, and Mixon puts up a big week for him, so that was huge. Um, yeah, and Kingslayer was looking. Well, he was unbeatable. He was undefeated, and he was looking like he was gonna stay on that little streak. But Kingslayer came in and swung that big sword around. Did he have? He did. Yeah, because it was last week when he got hurt. Marv 0 points, and he still gets the dub. So that's big time.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, to have a player get 0 and still win. And that Tracy pickup, great pickup. Joe Mixon, did you guys
Yeah.
see what Joe Mixon said when he was like heard about that hip tackle that took him out for a couple weeks? Like he was mad
Say you
because
want
he
to
was
go home
like
and beat his girlfriend again or something.
no, he was saying he was mad because he's saying he was like leading the league in rushing going into that. Like he was I mean it was only like a week or something in, but he was like I don't know, it just felt like an energy that like he's like I'm RB1 in the league and I got knocked out from a stupid tackle sort of thing. And now he's coming back and like the minute he gets back, he's putting up, over 100 yards off injury and a touchdown on let's not forget 100 yards on 13 carries by the way. So,
Yeah.
um
And it's a tackle too that he got hit with. That I mean, they emphasized in the offseason that they were going to penalize that type of shit, and not seen a single hip drop tackle penalty.
yeah. Yeah.
So how much did they actually? Which I mean, I'm glad. I don't think I don't think you should penalize something like that where it's such a subjective call. I mean, I guess there are some egregious examples, but there's a lot of instances where it's you could question whether or not it was a hip drop, and that could change the outcome of a game.
Right.
So I'm glad they're not calling it, but to make such a big deal of it in the offseason and then swallow your whistle when something like that happens and a player goes down because of a obvious one, it's interesting. It's the NFL, I guess.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, Jordan.
I feel like player safety wise, it's a good move for them to have that as a penalty. Because I was at the
Yeah.
game when Jordan Travis got hurt,
Oh no.
but
Oh,
yeah,
fair.
that was pretty horrible. I mean, I definitely get. I feel like that probably was one of their, decision factors. And I mean, there's been other notable NFL injuries, but I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know.
I mean,
I haven't seen it called either, and I've watched a good deal of these games. They just keep
yeah,
calling illegal formations. It's the only thing they call.
they do. Yeah, when I'm pretty sure when Dak got that ankle injury that ended up just being a cramp, right? A couple years back when his foot was sideways, and Romo was like, "You got to hope that's a cramp." I think that was from a hip drop.
Yeah,
Romo's looking at his foot flopping around. You got to hope that's a cramp
yeah.
there.
Ugh.
Rough.
Speaking of gross injuries, y'all see, obviously you saw it, Sean, and rest in peace, but Hutchinson this weekend,
Ugh, yeah. Just deflating.
that looked like, yeah, that gave me flashbacks to watching Anderson Silva's leg snap or Chris Weidman's leg snap.
Just
That
sad.
shit was nasty. Yeah, it is sad.
Yeah. I mean, he
Injuries
was
suck.
legitimately potentially going to be a defensive player of the year. So,
Oh yeah, him and T.J. Watt were battling.
yeah. So it's rough. He affects the whole game.
Yep.
So it's a huge loss and it was just gruesome and just freak. That's it. The only silver lining in this is that when you have those freak injuries like that where it's like what had happened to him, it's like once they are back, if they do the work to get back, um it's not something like it's not something that you're going to see repeat. I feel like where it's like Hutch could probably now go, if he comes back from this, he could go who knows the rest of his career without another injury because that's just like such a freak one to have. It's not like a common like
It's
wear
also
and
a
tear type
broken
thing.
bone as opposed to a torn ligament or something. Which medical professional in here, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's little bit easier to come back from than fucking up the ligaments in your
For
knee or
sure.
something.
Yeah, hard to re-break the leg when they put the rod in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, those ligaments, like a kid I played football with in high school, he tore his ACL, both knees, total of 3 times.
Oh,
Oh,
I just, I feel like you hear about that way more than like even broken bones and stuff. So
yeah, for sure.
uh,
hopefully it makes a fast recovery.
Yeah, that's the hope. Dan Campbell came out and said that he might play again this season, and he's gaslighting, but I think it's hilarious.
I don't know.
No,
It's
there's
like
no chance.
6 to 8 months.
There's no
Yeah.
chance. Yeah, but I love Dan Campbell coming out just saying
that
that.
was.
Just
I could see if it was a lesser fracture, but that shit was.
Yeah.
no, I
That was a
don't
clean
believe
break.
he would come back and play football. I love that Dan Campbell's coming out there saying that, oh, he might be back.
Yeah.
Just love it.
Was that as he was? Was that when he was standing at that comically large podium?
Yeah. Oh man, he's
You
just the
see that
man.
shit?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, they put new podiums in. The new company that bought the training camp facility also has been doing some work just with the Detroit Lions in general. And yeah, they got new podiums, and he's big, so you know that podium is like
Oh yeah,
ginormous.
massive.
Yeah. Yep. But
But
Jordan,
yeah, I'll.
my
Yeah.
winner of the week. I want to just say, hey Jordan, my winner of the week is gonna be um the captain, the doctor, the Vava. Actually, I got some love for Va,
That's
especially
fair.
even though I don't want to give love to Va. I know you have beef with Va, but I'm just mean the sense
No, I
like
love
Va is one of the tou I don't want to say most annoying people to attempt to trade with, but like if you ever talked to trade with Va, he's just insulting. He's just insulting. You can toss out a hypothetical and say, "Hey, do you have thoughts?" Like and then the response you'll get is just "fuck no." Like that's it. It's like just blunt and rude, and it's like okay, like I wasn't even like I didn't even send you a real offer. I was just like spitballing stuff. And so I don't want to give love to Va. And this wasn't even recent. This must have been 3 weeks ago we talked, and I was so scarred from him. I'm still thinking about it. Um, but yeah, I do want to give love to Va though, because listen, both of you had Va last in your rankings in terms of his
yes.
team. I did not. I had Va in my
That's
top
true.
five. Because Va's team,
In your top 5,
well, listen. Va,
please, whatever you are smoking, send it my way.
okay, I'll tell you exactly what I'm smoking. I'm smoking on Jalen Hurts with AJ Brown back, putting up almost 30. I'm smoking on Bijan getting hot in the running game with 20. 5. I'm talking about David Montgomery, a top 10 back, with 20 points again and his eighth straight game with a touchdown, dating back to last season. I'm talking about Garrett Wilson finally clicking with Aaron and having, yes, two Jets wide receivers with Devontae, but you can't tell me, first of all, that if Devontae and Aaron get clicking, that you can't have. First of all, you can't tell me that they can't each put up 20 every week because Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard just did it in the last matchup where they both had 20. So you can't tell me that Devontae and Garrett Wilson can't both have 20. Va picked up Mark Andrews, who I have a
I can tell
feeling
you
is
whatever I want.
I could. Well, you're not going to tell me that. And I'll tell you right now, Mark Andrews, he picked him up. Who knows? It could just be sporadic, but you know what? He had 14 last week. He seemed to be excited to be back in his involvement in the offense, and maybe it's on the uptick, and maybe Va got a steal off of an old dad drop because of a poor start to the season. So we've still got multiple months left. Chase Brown's double digits every week's good flex, and then he's got the Koo Young Ho. So
That's true.
I'm putting Va in the top five, bottom of the top five, but he's up there because his team is good. He put up 130 with a 30-point bench quarterback. And Gino, like you put in Hurts for who he had in there, and Va's up in like the 150s. So I like Va's team, how it's shaping up. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know if it'll be that every week. I don't think it will, but I think he's good enough looking at other
Yeah,
teams to be ahead of a few. So good win for
that's
Va.
fair.
130 is nothing to scoff at, especially with points on your bench too. And I'm trending up on Va. I'm trending up on Va.
That's fair. The only thing I will say is I don't love the Andrews pickup because that means he's going to have to put the Muth back in the cage. He won't be letting the Muth loose. So that
Dude,
kind
he
of
let the
bothers
Muth
me.
Luth. He let him to the waiver.
Did he drop the Muth?
Yeah, I'm pretty. Wait, did he not? I thought he dropped the Muth to pick up Andrews. Let me look at his
He could
team.
have. I wasn't paying attention.
Let me look at his. Yeah, he let go of the Muth.
So the Muth is Luth
The
right now.
the Muth is Luth. Yes.
Yeah, see, can't be letting the Muth loose. But no, I mean, honestly, the way you laid it out, maybe there is some upside for Vaughn that I just wasn't paying attention to. I was just strictly looking at his record and thinking, oh, this guy's garbage. But I could be wrong. Probably am.
Who's he play this week? Well, we'll get to that in the matchups of the week. Well, Jordan, who do you got as your winner of the week?
I'll give it to the man on a 3-game win streak. He's easy. He's breezy. He's a cover girl. Shout out Tuck with the resurgence of his squad. CJ Stroud playing nice. Brees Hall had a great game. Would have had a better game, but he got tackled on a 40-yard run at like the 3-yard line, which honestly ended up saving the game for Buffalo. So shout out Taylor Rapp in that secondary making that tackle. Brian Robinson, I don't think he's going to have that low of a game again. Although who knows, because Trevor Lawrence and that Jags team, they're pretty dookie. Brock Bowers is nice. T. Higgins got me feeling nicey. Texans defense looks good. Shout out Tuck, man. He's gonna get Aaron Jones back from bye. Who knows what he does on his bench? Josh Downs looks decent. Yeah, Tuck's riding a nice little win streak. We'll see if he can continue.
And I'm gonna win the league.
I don't know if he's saying that, but you know
Well,
he's feeling good.
I'm glad to have been the start of his win streak. To be honest, it all started with him
Are you?
beating me. Now
Oh,
he's
dude,
continued to go.
you're a
So
nice guy.
you know what? I like seeing Tuck win. I can't lie. So happy to say it started with me.
He needs to string a few. Like he can't have a son and tell his son that he's taking the SAT because he lost fantasy.
That's true. That is
You know,
true. Yeah.
like his little newborn son saying, "Dada, why you take SAT?" He's gonna have to tell him
No,
because I'm bad at fantasy,
he
son.
would look like a total loser. And speaking of
Oh,
losers,
dude.
Brennan, who's your loser of the week this week?
Loser of the week. Hmm. Let's see here. Every time I click off, I was looking at what players. I'm gonna have to say Chungus.
Ooh,
Chungus.
I feel like
Oh,
Chungus.
Chungus.
I don't know. He's got a lot of belief in the his Dallas team, and I don't know.
Dallas has been a letdown, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
I
stink.
just think that Chungus going all in on Dallas is not the move. I'm worried about his future.
Well, he did make a move to snag Aaron, which I guess we'll look at later. So he's doing the smart thing and abandoning Dallas a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
But
don't
yeah,
know if he'll
that's a
keep
tough
going back
L.
to Dowdle, but CD Lamb, I think you got to keep CD Lamb in either way though. Dallas stinking or Dallas being good.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
yeah, start your studs. But yeah, that's a fair one. That's a fair one. I also think another fair loser of the week. Mm, I'm. Do I want to? I'm gonna piggyback on both game. I'm gonna piggyback on the same game. And I'm gonna give it to our lovely guest, Dad, Follow Spike,
Oh
LLC,
no.
with a big fat 84 points scored, which I believe is the lowest in the league this week. Um,
absolutely
Saquon
was.
didn't not look. I mean, he's had a bye week in there, and then 13. Obviously, you're not going to get 30 out of him every week, but 13 bye week and 8 makes for a rough stretch for your number one guy. And this is coming from a guy with no running backs, and except for a Chubb. And yeah, I mean, it's just I look at the matchup. I see you didn't have JT in. I see you didn't start Brock Purdy 'cause, obviously Joe Burrow had come off a big week. You didn't start Cole Kmet.
Hmm.
So it's not like your team. I still had your team ranked high in power rankings. It's not like I think your team is bad. I just think you had bad starts and a rough week. Not that I don't think it would have mattered. I think you lose either way. But
Yeah, I think even if I start Cole Kmet, I still lose.
yeah, Kmet and Purdy, you still lose. So
Yeah,
just a bad week. It was a loser week. Um, yeah.
yeah.
So they happen. I've had 4 of them. But yeah, this one just seems like especially
Just
bad this
hoping
week.
Malik Neighbors stops going to concerts.
Oh yeah, yeah, Malik Neighbors. I didn't even catch him because he was at the bottom there. Yeah, because he's out too a little bit.
Yeah,
So
stop going to concerts and get out. Yeah, get out of concussion protocol.
Get on the field. He needs to be sitting in a dark room, healing. Instead, he's
true.
staring at those lights and getting blasted with loud music, which is probably the exact opposite of what you want to do when you have a concussion. I'm
Exactly.
not a professional, but
But we have someone in here who could probably say confidently that that's not the right thing to be doing.
but I have had my fair share of
Yeah.
concussions, and
Oh man.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I didn't want to say myself because I had a feeling there'd be a vote for loser of the week being me.
Yeah, I mean it's low
yeah,
hanging fruit
we
because of
would
your
have called you
score,
out for a
but
self suck too.
yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Oh. Well, Jordan, you
That
got a
being
loser
said,
of the
can we go
week?
back to winner of the week and I can pick myself? My loser of the week. Sorry, co-host, but it's gonna be you, buddy.
Yeah,
Um,
good. Good.
you don't start Josh Allen. That's your downfall. Another downfall, Travis Etienne. Snagging him with your first pick of the draft. That hurts. Um, that really hurts. You had some great weeks. I mean, Scary Terry's looking scary. Chris Godwin, beasting. Sam Laporta, that was a beautiful little play for him to get that tutty. Um, and then your kicker had a great week, but you left some points on the bench, especially actually just mainly in the quarterback department. Because you're gonna start DK. I don't blame you for having JMO on the bench. You're gonna start DK every week, pretty much. I would, but
Yeah.
opting for Kirko Chains over Josh Stallion. I don't think I would have started Caleb Williams, so I don't blame you for that. But you got a grenade, you got a hand grenade on the bench, and I mean, yeah, he's had some underwhelming weeks, but he can get you weeks like he had last week, and you just you hate the man. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean at the end of the day, you gotta start your studs. And I did not after losing some faith in Josh, but after seeing because I was reading about how banged up he was. Obviously, they had been struggling playing some of these teams, and so I was like, all right, here we go. Like this could be the end for Josh. But now, even before the Cooper trade, he showed, hey, I'm still gonna run the ball. He took one in himself. Still had 9, almost 10 carries, right? Like I thought they would start limiting his carries because how banged up he was getting watching that hit the other week. Um, he threw for about the yardage he's been thrown for, but he tacked on a couple tutties because he's had 3 games where he's had 1 or less. And he's had the big one, that Superman cape one where he had 4. But now he mashed it with 2 and then ran for 1. So yeah, I mean, and then now getting Cooper too. Yeah, at this point with Josh, it's pretty much just start your stud unless he's got a bye week, and from there I'll have options. But
Yeah,
unless the matchup is just for some reason like just atrocious or something like that, and the matchup is just like too good for another quarterback I have. But then again, I had that same thought process this week because I thought the Jets defense would be pretty good, and I thought the Panthers would be prime for Kirk, and all they did was run the ball. So maybe just start your studs and ride with it. Easiest way to do it. So
Yeah, it's usually not a bad strat.
yeah, lesson learned.
But I still have to remind myself of that sometimes too.
Yeah. Lesson definitely learned though, because that's a tough one to lose. Matt's a good team, and it would have been nice to have an advantage over him, if tiebreakers happened or anything like that. So this is now 3 games. 3 of my 4 losses I've played in games if I just started a player that I was considering starting. I could have won, and I know Wardle likes to. Whenever I bring that stat up, especially if we're playing each other, he likes to bring up, well, he's like, well, the other person could have been in the same situation. This is true. But I don't know how much tinkering's going on other sides. But I just definitely see it from my perspective of I just start one guy and I'm good. So,
Yeah.
rough, but that's fantasy. So we continue to trek on, and it's not like everyone's every year this league seems to be the same way, where it's like, for the most part, everyone floats around the same until the very end. So, I have a feeling that might be the case this year too. So we'll see.
Seems that way.
We'll see. All right. Well, hey, let's look ahead. Speaking of going ahead into the future of this of the season, let's look at our matchups of the week for next week. Brendan, who are you most excited to watch, to keep track of?
I think I want to see what Easy Breezy Cover can do this week. Can he take down the Juggernaut?
That's a good one.
Ooh. Yeah. Can he keep that winning
He
streak
could
going?
be a dark horse.
He's projected to win right now. I think that's because of player injuries, though.
Yeah.
Bye weeks or something.
New haircut. He's a new man.
No bye weeks. Maybe people are just not projected to play for Wardle because he's trending down a little bit. Yeah, and if Tuck starts 0-3 and then takes down the previously undefeated to move to 4-3, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty good move.
Oh yeah. That'd be massive.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, and I see the working man doesn't have much time to mess around with his lineup, but it looks like Jordan Mason is still in the projection to start for the Niners. So the other guy he's got in is only looking like he's got 3 points in his projection, which is, I think, what the deal is there. But it'll be interesting nonetheless. I agree. Jordan, you got a matchup of the week?
I do. I'm looking at this battle of the 2 and 4s. Can JB bounce back? Can Va continue his maybe a run that he's on? Got that one dub. You laid out to me beautifully articulated that Va could be on the up and up. So I'm looking at this battle of 2 and 4s. Vava versus Chungus. Chungus.
Yeah, Rabbit has a helmet.
I wonder what kind of helmet that is.
Hmm.
That helmet?
Yeah, I think something like that. I don't know. It's interesting, but I like it though. I like commitment to Chungus is what I like. He
Yeah.
The people wanted something and he delivered. So
He did deliver.
he delivered
He
big
delivered
time.
Chungus.
Yep. So we appreciate Chungus. We are fans on the pod of Chungus. This is a pro Chungus pod.
Who are you looking at? What's your matchup?
Oh, listen, I'm gonna self-suck real quick, because we can't escape this pod without talking about our matchup. It's the co-hosts going against each other, and it's the El Clasico. Still the El Clasico of two and 4 teams. Obviously, now we are getting to the point where it's like records are close, but to move into 3 and 4 versus inch closer to 500 versus bridge that gap. If we look at years past, you look and you see what records are typically getting in. Normally we're seeing around 7 and 6 being the cutoff. Maybe this year will be a little different because a lot of records are closer. We don't seem to have that one team since Tuck rebounded that's going to be like 0-8. 1-7 for until up to that 8 weeks in. So maybe it's closer,
Yeah.
but it seems like the cutoff's been around 7 wins, and if you're down to 5 losses, you can only lose like one more game to even be potentially eligible. So it's starting to matter. It's starting to matter. And this is a big one for 2 and 4s, like your other matchup too with JB and Va. But this is the El Clasico, and right now projections that don't matter are skewed because you got a couple empty spots. But how can you not love the El Clasico when it rolls around each year, even from our perspectives being in it? The league is a fan of it. I'm a fan of it. I believe you dominate the postseason record, and I think we're either tied or I have the slight edge in the regular season record.
I think you have a pretty good edge in the regular season.
Okay, so we'll see how another regular season matchup bodes. You did shit talk, I think, without knowing that we were matching up earlier in the group me, saying that I should quit talking and go get some wins or something like that. And
Did I say that?
yeah, were you blacked out again? Do you black out beyond just the pod?
Dude, some things just get said,
Yeah,
Some
it was
things
something in
just
the
get
lines
said.
of I was about to pop off on you when you were joking with us
Oh,
about,
yeah.
and you said, "Oh, pop off on who? Go win some, or go lose another matchup or something." I said, "We'll see next week." Yeah.
Yeah, that was
So
before I fully realized that we were playing, and I was like, ooh, yeah, I shouldn't have. But you know what? Fuck it. We
yeah,
here.
we ride.
We shit
It's
talk.
Harambe's will at the end of the
Exactly.
day. Um,
Exactly.
Brennan, how about you give us, if you're looking at it, give us a little breakdown from neither of our perspectives on what you see in our matchup. Give a little El Clasico love.
I'm interested to see what Jordan's going to do here because he's got the number one defense, number one kicker. I think that's the only thing because I could see not starting anyone if he doesn't want to give anybody up. But I don't know. I feel like it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think it'll be a turning point for one of the teams.
Oh, you know
Yeah, I
what?
hope it's me.
That's a great observation. I didn't even think of your conundrum you're in. What? I mean, you maybe have, unless you don't care too much about defenses, right? But the Bears are number one. And then you have what, maybe Lad that you could drop? The good Lad? But like
He's
otherwise
just a
you're
he's
dropping
just a wee lad.
you're dropping a player. If you like you have to actually consider who you're dropping here.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Interesting observation, Dad. All right. Well,
$1.
now we got to turn to everybody's favorite segment.
I do have.
What do you have?
I do unfortunately have to depart though because I have a soccer game I have to get to.
Oh, that's okay.
It's all right, buddy.
No, you're
I
good. We've
apologize.
already been over an hour, but we haven't, but we started a little later because Jordan. So so hey, it's
But it was a pleasure.
it's good.
Hey, thanks
Dad,
for
thank
joining
you.
us.
We
It's always
appreciate
nice
you joining
catching up.
us.
Yeah,
Any
man.
words for the league, sir?
I hope to be joining back on the pod soon and wish
You
everybody
will.
the best.
We've got you. We've got
It's
you
my
ready to
Hell
go.
yeah.
kids.
It'll be there. Yes, sir.
Get some free kicks for us.
100%.
Yeah, I will.
All right.
I'll see you guys.
Good
All right,
talking.
Dad.
All right. See you later. Wow. It's just us.
All right. So,
So,
where are we? We continue on. Where are we?
well,
I'm lost.
I think he left because he was bored. I
No,
think
he
I
told
think
me
we're.
he did tell me before that he had to.
Oh, he did. Oh, you just didn't say anything.
Yeah.
You bastard.
What? You
So,
were Dude, you were on mute for. I was sitting here for maybe 20. No, not 20 minutes. Realistically, 7 minutes, just saying, "Yo, yo, 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 are we doing this? Yo, are we doing this? Yo,
yeah,
like
I hopped on.
driving myself insane."
I hopped on the Discord at like 6:25, and then but I just got home, so I hopped on it first before taking my dog out, and she wanted to go on a little walk.
Oh,
So she'd been home alone all day. So I had to go let her walk. The weather's nice out, so just walk a little bit. Let her do her poops and
what
everything.
is the
So
weather there?
it's got to be in like the 70s. It's cool and breezy.
Nice.
So yeah, it's nice. I'm enjoying it. Um,
Yeah,
but
it's been chilly here, like
yeah,
mid 60s.
hold on. Are we wardling right now? Are we
Dude,
wardling our own
did you
podcast right
did
now?
you
Is he
watch?
in
Yeah,
here?
you watched last week, right?
Dude, he kept derailing, dude.
And with the derails, though, we were still within an hour. We got that pod done.
Yeah, but there's something magical about the way I can get myself and others to ramble and extend the pod time. So it's
Hey,
it's okay.
we got some good derailment though. I
No, it
will
was good
say.
derailment, and it was still you still managed to be efficient with time. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like when I'm not here, everyone's time is respected or something.
Well, we had to be because Wardle was scarfing down that rice and chicken, and then he had to get back before he got yelled at by his boss.
Oh, that's true. That's true. He's a 9 to 5er now, so he probably. Do you think he just gets yelled at, or do you think it's anything worse that happens to him?
Um, I wonder because he's got like some Hollywood elites going in there, so he's doing some Hollywood elite stuff to try to knock boots with them, if you know what I mean.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
Like that taxi driver from Deadpool that he was talking about. You know, he asked him in the back. He's like, "Hey, come back here. I got something for you." And just
Yeah, hey, I want
just
to
went
take a look at your
down on him.
camera.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, why don't you let me here? I'll check you out a special camera back here.
Oh, yeah.
You know how
Well,
that guy operates.
hey, listen, it was, and I couldn't believe the rice thing when you guys were talking about that, like
How do you reheat rice?
I just put it in a microwave.
Yeah, but you don't get like it gets not doesn't get funky, but you can never get rice back to its original state unless you drop it in a wok or like some type of frying pan and heat it back up that way.
Yeah, no, I guess anytime I ever heat up rice, it's just at work, and we just have a shitty microwave, so that's just what
Yeah,
I do. Um, but normally, like the rice, like has other stuff, like there's like chicken sitting on top of the rice or something,
yeah.
and so it just kind of just all blends together. But yeah, see, I don't know, like he's derailing while not even being here. It's crazy. Um, it's
He's here
crazy
in
his
spirit.
reach.
Yeah,
Well, hey, do you want to go ahead and get to the offers reports?
yeah. Why don't we?
Let's do it. Let's do it. You got any clever transitions?
I don't. I'm actually until we get to Wednesday because there's some rage inside of me
Okay.
for not getting a single claim that I placed, and that's why I put the text in the chat. And I was like, "Listen, guys, next week I'm gonna send a message out to everyone. Don't claim who I'm claiming. I appreciate your understanding because it's honestly ridiculous."
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. Let me just. I'm still doing it off the phone because my bars are actually really low right now. Like they're really low. They're lower than they were before when I was dealing with what I was dealing with. So I'm just gonna do it from
Well,
my
I
phone.
could
Can you
I
do
could
it?
run this.
All right, run it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why not?
please. That would
All
actually
right, so
help.
we're looking at Friday, October 11th. Actually, we'll go to Thursday, October 10th, because that's the day after we recorded the last pod. And the Kingslayer added Jake Elliott for $0, dropping Will Reichart from Minnesota to the waivers. I said it like that because I assume he's German, you know?
Yeah, we'll let that one. We'll just let that one go.
Will
You can keep going.
Rijkaard.
Yep. Yeah, you don't have to say it
Then we go
twice.
to
It's fine.
then we go to Friday, October 11th, and listen, I get to do another accent because no, I don't actually. But and this name, I don't know why I struggle with this name, Chungus, Chungus,
I don't know.
Chungus.
I think it's Chungus, but
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, I
Chungus
think it's
adds
Chungus.
Ray Davis for $5, and he drops Mike Gesicki to from Cincinnati to the waivers. Interesting story about Ray Davis, real quick. Because JB messaged me, and he said, "How old is Ray Davis?" I'm like, he's a rookie. Why? He's like, "Have you seen that man's picture? He's ugly as sin or something like that." I look at his picture. Turns out his picture is very unflattering. He is a very ugly man.
I'm looking
Texted
at it.
JB back. I'm like, dude, it looks like he's lived 1,000 lifetimes. Turns out he probably has lived a few lifetimes because he grew up homeless and in foster care, and he's got a pretty interesting story to him.
Oh wow.
But yeah, that's why he looks so weathered, is because, at least in that picture, because yeah, he grew up homeless. And I guess there was one point where like he was in a homeless shelter with his siblings, and he had a spot in a foster home, but they could only take 2 people, so he sent both his siblings, and he stayed in the homeless shelter. So interesting little story.
Wow.
But continuing on that same Friday, Watson adds Jacoby Myers for $3. He didn't have to drop anybody, and the Kingslayer adds Damian Pierce for $2, dropping Mark Andrews. So interesting that the Kingslayer had Mark Andrews, dropped him for Damian Pierce, who actually ended up putting up 20 points, I think. So that's pretty big.
Yeah, he did.
Moving on to Saturday, October 12th, the Kingslayer again makes a $6 acquisition of Antonio Gibson and drops Tyjae Spears from Tennessee to the waivers. I'm pretty sure Tyjae is hurt, so not a bad little move. Watson for $1 adds Ray McLeod the third and dropped Jalen Waddle. Interesting. I might have to go look at Jalen Waddle. And the Kingslayer places a $1 bid, but it was unsuccessful because he had Tyjae Spears allocated to be dropped. That player was already dropped, so he couldn't drop Trey Sermon, or he couldn't add Trey Sermon.
Mm.
On Sunday, Biting Kneecaps adds Harrison Butker for $0. How do you feel about his views on women and wifeliness?
I think you should. I'll circle back to that on Wednesday's waivers. Or actually, it won't be on Wednesday's waivers because I did it on like Monday. I dropped them. Looked into
Oh,
all
okay.
that and dropped them. Yep.
Well, I'll tell you how I feel. I feel like he was speaking to a specific audience that type of mindset applied to. I also feel like he wasn't telling women that this is what they should do. I think he was just explaining an anecdote where his wife found great value in that, and that, hey, if you find that this isn't the path that you want or whatever, then maybe motherhood is what will fulfill you. But moving on Sunday I added Kamani Vidal for $0. He's a Los Angeles Chargers running back, and again, I struggle with this name. He told me before, Chungus
Chungus.
adds the Bucks defense and drops the Lions defense.
Bad move. They put up 20.
It's interesting. And now we're at Wednesday, and this was a happy Wednesday for some, painful for me. We'll start with Chungus. Got it that time. He adds Aaron Rodgers for $36, dropping Jerome Ford to the waivers.
So he went
Um,
for Aaron. There you go.
he went for Aaron, and he beat me out because I only bid $7 because that's all the money I had. I'm just a poor little lad.
So you were willing to drop it all.
For Aaron, yeah.
Okay.
And then I would have had 3 QBs on my bench and tried to swing one of them.
Did you
But
expect to get him with a $7 bid?
no,
Okay.
realistically, no. I had. We'll continue on and then I'll explain because it applies later.
Okay.
Captain Dr. Vava adds Mark Andrews for $6, dropping the Muth. He let the Muth loose.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Let the Muth loose.
And with that, he beat out Follow Spike, who bid $4 for Mark Andrews. So Follow Spike wanted to get his boy back, and just with what's he got, 90 something dollars? I actually have it right here. He's got $90 in
He spent
free
4.
agent budget, and he only mustered 4.
So hold on. Do you think that's why he dipped? Was because he knew we were getting here and he didn't want to get exposed for trying
It's
to get his own
possible.
boy back?
It's possible.
Okay. We'll have
Very
to ask him.
possible. That is interesting. Moving along, Chungus adds the Jets defense for $6, dropping Seahawks defense, and that also prevents him from adding the Bengals defense, which he had a $3 bid on, because a player involved was dropped, meaning he tried to drop Seahawks for the Bengals, couldn't because he already dropped it for the Jets.
Yep.
Interesting. I wonder if he obviously did have him prioritized higher because he paid more money for the Jets than the Bengals. So
Yep.
we'll see how the Jets defense works out. And then we get to Easy Breezy Cover Girl spending $0 and getting the Bengals defense. He beat me out because I guess he was higher on waiver priority, and he dropped Texans defense when he picked up the Bengals.
Yeah.
That was frustrating
Another one.
because I thought, yep, another one. This is the second one I got beat on. Thought I was going to get them. Thought I was going to have a little defense to plug in with the Bears down, but I guess not. Moving along. Lights Camara Action Jackson adds Harrison Butker for $2, dropping Evan McPherson. He beats me out, who had a $0 bid on Butker. In fact, at one point I had a $2 bid actually. I don't want to lie. $2 bid on Harrison Butker. Took it off of Butker, put everything towards Aaron. So I wonder waiver priority how I would have shook up against Lights Camara for Butker.
That's interesting.
I possibly still would have lost, but I wonder.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So yeah, that's the third loss of this Wednesday, which, like I said, painful Wednesday. Chungus, he was active, dude. Chungus was active. He added Cade Otton, the Tampa Bay tight end, for $2, dropping Dallas Goedert to the waivers, which interesting person on the waiver wire there. Philly's tight end. I know he's injured, but how many weeks? Because he's got some juice. He does have some juice, and I can't see it right now, but I think he was one of the higher ranked tight ends in the league.
Well, don't bid on him.
Well, I only have $7 to bid, so
Yeah, well, don't.
and I got 2 tight ends on my team already, so I probably won't.
Okay, just don't.
All right, well, we'll see. Moving along. Follow Spike adds Chris Boswell for $0 and drops Cairo Santos, Chicago kicker, to the waivers.
Yep.
The 8th acquisition goes to Beting Kneecaps, adding Raheem Mostert for no money. So snag. And then Easy Breezy had a claim in for the Chargers D, but he got the Bengals D, so that one didn't go through.
He
And
was
that's
really putting in on those Ds.
dude, you know Breezy is fucking just searching for those Ds.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it was an interesting week. I mean, this is normally around the time we start to see activity, maybe not slow, but not big moves. But here, I mean, waivers have been pretty active. Waivers have been pretty
They have.
active. So
They have.
yeah, it's good to see. And we keep having interesting weeks. Like we keep having snipes. We keep having, now you with the triple L this week for the waivers. Yeah, it's interesting how the waivers have been this year. Very entertaining, for sure.
They have been, surprisingly.
Definitely. Well, you still down to take the pocket watch segment?
Pocket watch, and we got our Richie Rich follow spike at $90. Double XP weekend sitting at close to the top with 78. Just below him is the King Slayer himself with $77. Watson still sitting on a $56 bag. The captain, the doctor, the Vava, just over $50 at 51. Lights, Camara, Action, Jackson. That 9 to 5 is draining this man. He's down to $40.
Mm.
Chungus, not big yet, but young Chungus, $25. Living in Babylon, I got $7. That's me. The EC, the Barisi, the Cover Girl, he's got $5 left in that account, and to honestly probably the surprise of nobody, Biting Kneecaps has spent his entire budget before mid-season.
I
Dude, you're
historically
just
waste money.
you're just an acquisition hound.
I am. I
Just love
historically wake.
making claims, dropping folks.
Oh yeah, and putting money I don't need to put on them, and then dropping them. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think if you probably go back and track it, I've wasted easily 90 out of my 100 waiver dollars probably. I'd imagine on just moves that didn't end up doing anything. I don't even know if I have a waiver acquisition. I have Tank, who I added for $0.
Nice.
Broncos defense. Okay, $6. That one's a good one. Siebert, that was a good one too. It's worked out. Oh, 0. Okay. I still have Kirk, who was a $17 ad. I have him for now.
Whoa, what was
And
that? You have them for now?
no, I was just saying, Kirk was $17, and
Where's he going?
I didn't say anything. I just said that Kirk had, he was a
You said I
$17
have
ad.
him
He's
for
on my
now.
bench.
You said I have him for now.
Is my mic cut?
Oh, it must be breaking up again. Yep. Yeah, it's
No,
cutting out
okay,
again.
okay. Oh, sorry. I think that's that thing that happens when it gets really slow and then all the words catch up at once.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I said just Kirk. Kirk's like, yeah, $17. I added him anyway. Um, yeah.
You started
So
him this week? You should start him this week.
I'm not doing that because I'm riding with Allen. So
All right, well then I'm going to start Goff. So you gotta play my quarterback against me. I'm gonna have to play your quarterback against you.
okay, do it. I don't after seeing everything that you've done. Well, you've got a juicy option though, so I don't blame you. You're either starting the Packers quarterback against me or Goff. So
That's true. Ooh,
it's really
ooh.
you're winning either way. But I will tell you, I will be more mad because the Lions are playing the Vikings, who, just a quick note, the Vikings are pretenders. This is going to be the start of their downfall. No one remembers last year when the Vikings had, they acquired this new quarterback, Mr. Alopecia, and had like a nice little 3-4 game run with him. And then it just tanked. It just absolutely tanked. Didn't even end the season on the team.
Was
And
that an ableist attack on Dobbs?
no, I just forgot his name. Um,
so you
and
so you call him by his disorder?
I just forgot his name, so I needed to make sure I could distinguish for listeners like
Oh,
who I'm
okay,
talking
okay,
about.
okay.
I'm just
Yeah,
being
yeah.
yeah. So
How would you distinguish someone like
let's
I don't
just
know, like like AJ Brown? What would you call him?
I really wouldn't have I would just say Eagles wide receiver, but like Vikings had like 3 quarterbacks last year. Um so like I just had to make sure I knew that we knew who I was talking about. That's all. And that's
Oh,
just a
okay.
distinguishable trait. I mean, are you saying that like it's a disorder, like there's something wrong with him, and like that, like he's like you got to watch your language, man. Like there's nothing wrong with him. Alopecia is just alopecia.
Listen, you're the one out here being ableist, so
I don't know about that. Anyway,
how do you think he would feel about being called Mr. Alopecia?
well, I don't want to. I'm not a guy who pretends like I make emotional connections with fantasy
That's
players.
true. Yeah,
So
what the fuck am I saying? You're
yeah,
right.
so I don't think I have to
Yeah, we
even worry
shouldn't think
about
about
that.
these guys' feelings.
No, not at all. So um, that said though, the Vikings are pretenders. Sam Darnold is just Dobbs, but this year, and it just happens to be at the start of the year instead of the middle of the year. He did a little nice cute 5-0. I texted Matt the other day and I was like, "Oh, you guys are just going to be a cute little footnote like, "Oh, look how good they did at the beginning of the season. That's so cute. They won some games." And they'll end up like, maybe they'll probably make the playoffs in a wild card or something because of how, decent their start was, but um listen, it's still at this moment in time, despite who they are, an away game for the matchup for the division. So like I'm all invested in this. I think we win by 2 scores minimum, but I'm invested. So it is gonna hurt if Goff is slinging them against me in fantasy. I mean, it won't as long as the Lions win, but um, yeah, I'll know in my head. That's the thing. It's not gonna hurt, but I'll know every time Goff throws a score on those bums. I'll know what's happening to me if he's in your starting lineup. Um,
Yeah,
and so
I was hesitant too because I mean I'm a victim of the media telling me that the Minnesota defense is great. Minnesota defense, oh Brian Flores, he dials it up. But looking at Jordan Love's history, Jordan Love dropped 38 on those bums. So what can Goff do? And that's what's tempting me now to start Goff.
yeah, I think he's a good start the rest of the year, to be honest. But um, you know, make your choice. You got a good one either way, so that's fair. Um, but yeah, so we let's see.
What's tearing you up?
Is that where we've left off? Is this where we are
We're
tearing up?
we're past budget. I mean, I guess we could look at the power rankings, but
That's a U segment if you want to pull them up.
I mean, I guess we could. I always forget how to get there. Just league home. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm trying to. All right, I'm here. At number one, we still have Lights Camara, Action Jackson. At number two, they're telling us that it's going to be double XP weekend. Number three, Watson is naming itself number three. Number four, Follow Spike drops from his first overall projection on game day to number four. Number five, the EC, the Breezy, the beautiful cover girl, dropping from his second overall projection on draft day. In sixth place, Watson is now telling us that the Kingslayer will finish in sixth place. Living in Babylon, he is expected to finish in seventh place, up 3 spots from draft day projections. In eighth, they are now predicting that Captain Dr. Vava will finish in eighth place. You know what's interesting about Varun that I never even thought about until like I was sitting in my house cleaning.
What's that?
Varun is like vacuum with an R.
Yeah, that is pretty much. You
isn't
know
that
what?
isn't that nuts?
That's
Isn't
pretty.
that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah,
Like
he's
I was
vacuum with an R.
yeah, Varun is vacuum with an R. It's crazy. But yeah, so he's projected for eighth. Ninth place projection is Young Chungus,
Wow.
which I'm sorry to see that. And 10th, I'm very sorry to see this, is our dear Coast biting kneecaps. Drop down from your seventh overall projection on draft day. Any comments on that?
Um. Well, I have a theory that we've talked about on the pod before that all the power rankings are a series of like the look ahead, like Watson's looking ahead at all the projections it has set for just how the lineups stand at the moment. And whatever those projections are, going forward, like, because I think it just has projections ready to go for each matchup, even the ones that are just automatically set for, I don't know, week 14. And I think it just projects all the way out all those games And so basically, I think what I'm trying to get to is I think these power rankings are rooted in just long-term projections, and I think projections are useless. So I think these rankings are useless.
Fair enough. I would tend to agree. I think I'm going to finish much high. I think I'm going to finish 6 spots higher than the 7th place projection.
Yeah, that said, I still think my team needs to show it, and I need to show that I can start the right people before I rank myself any higher than bottom 5. But I would like to think I'm not gonna lose the whole thing. So I would like to think that if I can get my people straight, I can win the whole thing, and get a hold of another running back. But we'll
Something
get there.
something interesting that I'll add. At the bottom of my power rankings page are some sponsored headlines.
Yep.
Did you know that Brazilian bikinis are sweeping the U.S. in 2024?
Brazilian bikini. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is this someone
Or
that
that
we're going after as a
seniors.
sponsor now?
I don't know. This is just a bunch of sponsored headlines down at the bottom of my screen.
What
I
does
have
Wardle
a.
know about Brazilian bikinis?
I tried to ask him about that in Miami, and he didn't have an answer for me. I
Hmm.
said, "When did bikinis become something that cover no cheeks?" Not that I'm complaining, but I'm just curious.
He
He's
didn't
like,
know
"Why
about
you even
that.
asking?" He's like, "Why you even asking me this question?"
Was it as
And that's just
hostile
like
as the way you just made it out to be?
it was more hostile. I was like, "Bro, I'm just asking a question." He's like, "Why do you have to ask me? What would I know about that?"
Do you
It's like,
think
bro,
he answered that way, knowing that a couple months later, it would be a way to derail the pod while he's not on it?
honestly, it could have been. Or under his swim trunks, he was wearing one of those. It was real defensive about it.
I would honestly love if it was both. If it was both those things, that would just be, ooh, that'd be great. I think I caught a peek at those though, because obviously we shared a room in Miami and we were changing in the same
Oh,
room
you
and all
did.
that stuff. You know what I mean? So I think I
What
did
went
catch a
down in
peek of
that room?
those.
The pod needs to know what happened in that room. Because that was what, a twin bed y'all had?
It was well, it was a twin bed, but we didn't treat it like one. We treated it smaller. So
We treated it like a cot.
so um it was essentially just a hammock that we crawled into. Um
Oh, okay.
yeah, because it'll curl up and mush us together. Listen,
Yeah.
I don't deny that the pod deserves to know. I just And yes, this YouTube video when it posts is marked no, not for kids. So it's not that I feel unsafe sharing what happened in that room. I
But it
just
was an intimate thing. Yeah, I get it.
yeah, it just can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna leave
That's
it.
that's a I'll accept that, yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah. So
But you got videos of it, right?
100%. Yeah, I'll send you them after.
Alright, sweet.
Yeah. So well, I think we're at the point now. I want to know what's tearing you up inside, buddy. What's if you get a nice piece of shakaroni, what when that starts to hit you about 60 seconds after it hits your stomach, what's tearing you up as bad as a nice slice of shack?
Well, beyond the fact that I can't shake this little cold I've had for like a week, I would say tearing me up. It's honestly this Wednesday, waking up this morning and just getting fleeced out of 3 fucking acquisitions that I wanted. That hurt. I didn't think I was getting Aaron, so I'm not as upset about that. Shout out to JB for dropping the bread that he needed to. But the other two do hurt because I had money on Butker. Didn't have money on the Cincinnati defense, but thought for sure I'd be able to scoop them. I was like, who else is going for a defense? Only me. Turns out I was very wrong, and Tuck swiped me. And then with Butker, the fact that I took the money off of him to put towards just a useless bid towards Aaron, it hurts. Just small brain activity led to me not getting anybody I wanted, and now I have to scavenge the waivers again and see if there's anyone worth getting, and that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, that triple L is tough. 100% on the waivers. And okay, this is just listen. You know what's tearing me up inside more than
What
anything
is
right
it?
now?
What is it?
When did Debo Samuel get the senior added to his name?
That's a great question.
Because I don't remember, and trust me, I've looked at Debo a couple times this season. Where did the senior come from? Who's Debo Samuel Senior? And did Wardle have something to do with this?
Oh, does Wardle have a little junior in the oven?
That's that, and you know what? If we want to talk about going against, the idea of getting an emotional connection with players, what if Wardle does have a junior Debo Bacon right now, and that's why the name is changed to senior?
That's damn. That is interesting.
I don't remember
Because
ever
he
seeing
could.
Debo Samuel Senior. I don't.
No, it has to be new. Piggyback question: if you had a son, would you consider naming him Sean Stephon Hayward the third and just skip the junior? You think that's something you can do?
I think the names have to be identical for that to be a thing. Maybe they don't though,
What's your
because
is your middle name not Stephon?
nope.
I
You
thought
should
you
know my
changed it when you met your best friend in college.
Oh, you mean the guy who questioned if I liked girls and called me a fucking loser? Yeah, that
Yes,
guy.
that
That guy, Stefan. Yeah, no, I didn't, but I am thinking about naming my firstborn after him so that he will not be a loser like me if his name is Stefan.
fair. That's
Um, yeah.
a good way
So,
of looking at it.
yeah, but you want to know what else is tearing me up inside? Because that was kind of a short one.
Yeah, what is it?
What's tearing me up inside? You know what? I got two. I got two other small ones, so we'll make three tiny ones. Because let's just say I ate a slice of shakaroni for each of these, tearing me up.
That happens. That'll
Small
do
one,
it.
yeah, and I had the first one tore me up, and I just went for two more pieces. It's
See,
just
that's the
what
thing.
happens.
If you just eat it slice by slice, each individual slice tears you up a little bit.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
When you eat a whole pie, it's like a massive tear up.
Yeah, when we say eat a whole
You're getting
pie, you
torn
mean
up.
like you're not slicing it up, you're eating the whole pie. You're picking it up and eating it.
Yeah, you're like folding the entire pie
Yes.
in half and just
Yes. Um,
yeah.
well, one small thing, because I went slice by slice, and what's tearing me up is that ETN is just so bad. He's just terrible. And maybe Bigsby. Listen, if I can end up on my team by this time the season ends with a guy named Tank Bigsby being a top 15 back, because something ETN can't, he loses carries or things like that. Because it was a pretty decent sample size for Tank. Dude, if you have a guy like Tank Bigsby and that's his name, Tank Bigsby, and he's relevant in fantasy, that's good
Yeah.
vibes. That is good vibes. But for now, what's tearing me up is the fact that I invested so much in ETN. I think you hit the nail on the head with my buyer's remorse from last year, where it's like I traded him, and he was the start of my collapse from last year into just, from having a team that could be top 3 or 4 to almost losing the league to a clown.
And I'm gonna win the league.
But I think I did feel a little like I let him go last year, and now this is going to be my redemption arc with him, and he's just decided to continue to fuck me. Um, so that tears me up a little bit. But also what tears me up, and
Well, hold
this
on. The
is
fact that he's fucking you, does that mean we'll soon see Travis Etienne Sr.?
well, he's already Travis Etienne Jr. So
Oh, he is.
yeah, so that's already on there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So yeah, I mean the third may be on the way. I can neither confirm nor deny, but um, he's already junior. So
Yeah.
the
Okay.
last thing tearing me up, truthfully, is that Dad had to leave early, and I didn't know about it until he actually had to leave. Um, it's upsetting. I miss Dad. That was a good. It's good to talk to Dad. Um,
It is.
so the fact that he had things to do and I didn't get to be sensitive to his time because I was unaware was just made me feel bad. It tore me up a little bit inside.
That makes sense.
Didn't get the post.
I was watching the clock to see if 7:30 hit. He's like, I got a hard cutoff at 7:30. I was like, oh, what are you doing? He's like, suck. Oh, sweet. And then 7:30 hit. I was like, when's Dad gonna drop the news on Sean?
Didn't happen until he had to actually leave, which is fine. I mean, that's not like the news. It was just I didn't get to say my goodbye. So my post-pod
Yeah.
goodbye, where we talk about
Well,
how
you
much we
live
love
right
each
next
other.
to him now, so you guys can meet up.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. Now
Just
we can
don't talk
actually.
trades.
No, well, no, he's not a big trader, and he unintentionally R'd me last time. I R'd myself really. So, um,
Art? What do you mean by art?
like a trade rape.
What did you just say?
What? With what? What? A trade rape?
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I did it. I did it to
That's
myself. I did it to myself with my trade with Dad last year.
you raped yourself.
dude, dude. I mean, it's a trade R. So I don't know. Is there
That's
something?
fair.
Did I miss something? Did I
No,
miss
I was
something
just
about?
curious what the R stood for.
Oh yeah, I
I'm
thought you
sure
knew.
YouTube will love that.
Oh, I mean, it's listed as not for kids. I thought that meant we could say anything we wanted.
Can we?
I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll find out if this gets taken down because I spelled out that R word, but it's strictly in terms of fantasy football trades and taking advantage of fantasy football low IQ people like I was last year with a couple trades. So,
Yeah, like you do with the real life
real life, what do you mean?
thing. Like you take advantage of low IQ people.
No, because first of all, that's not true. I deny whatever claim you're trying to put out there right now, but
I'm not
also,
saying you. I'm just saying with the
I,
R
I'm
word.
pretty sure you just said the word you, implying me.
No, not you. You don't do that.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so do you have
You
any
don't,
icy
right?
hots?
I don't
No, I don't do
actually.
that.
I do not have any icy hots.
Okay. Okay.
Icy hots have been, there's something that they are something that come to you. I've not had any epiphanies where it's like this is an icy hot. It's really it's been dry.
All right.
I
Well,
didn't mean to
I
make a
have an
pun
icy
there, but
hot because it
all right, let's hear it.
it came to me. And hold on, let me just your pun real quick. It has to be. So my icy hot take, and Ted's aware of this. Not that it's an icy hot, but we talked about this. I told him. The icy portion of this is that Ted is going to start Joe Mixon as long as he's healthy the rest of the year. Pretty
Okay.
icy, right? Here's the hot take. Joe Mixon finishes as RB1 on the year.
Wow.
Joe Mixon,
Really?
you know what? The way he was talking about it, I said it earlier. He seemed pissed that he was hurt by that tackle because he was doing so well, and he just had that confidence in that statement. Like I was leading the league in rushing, and he came back and almost averaged, averaged maybe like 8 something yards a carry. Um, he's on a good offense. If he stays healthy, I see RB1 at the end of the year.
RB1 overall or from this point on?
I was saying overall. I think he's going to
Wow,
have
that's
one
gonna
tough
be
game left. He has a bye week and he has one tough game left where he won't do well, and that's against Detroit. But
that's gonna
other than
be
that,
very tough considering he missed 3 games and had a 7 point game. But I like it is hot. It's definitely hot.
it's hot. It's burning up. So, yeah. That said, I think we've concluded. We've gotten to the end, even though we lost a guest along the way, but we made it. We did survive. Um, so do you have any other words for the league?
Um, I will say to you, my opponent this week, good luck. Obviously, I want to win. Good luck to you. To
Thank
the
you.
rest of the league, I pray for no injuries. I've had it happen to my team. That's why I'm trying to put the no injury, good juju out into the league. Injuries suck. I downplayed depth at the beginning of the season. Someone said something about the monkey paw curling. I think that actually happened. It was just a gorilla knuckle, and it
Yep.
curled, and I faced some injuries. Hopefully, I'm out of them now. We'll see. But I just pray that these starters stay healthy. We get good fantasy ball, good real football. And hey, refs, let's stop impacting games, huh? Let's stop taking away big plays from players, huh? Let's just relax. You're not the focal point of the game. So you know what? I'm gonna backtrack to a few segments ago, because this is a slice of chacaroni that bothers me when these fucking refs
Mm,
call a penalty on what would be a massive play,
yep.
and then you're just sitting there like, what the hell is this? Or your player scores a touchdown on maybe the 1 yard line or something, but then there's a hold, something like that happens. It's just refs. Let's relax, okay? Let the boys play. Let the boys play. But yeah, good luck to everyone. No injuries, and all glory to Harambe.
All glory to Harambe. Can never forget why we do it. It's always dicks out for Harambe. We always gotta honor, rest in peace, Harambe. And if you were still here, we could Harambe for president. And of course, as always, another good week of ball. And we are done.